Welcome back to the Cyrus King Show. This is your host, Cyrus King. This podcast episode, we're going to talk a little bit about conspiracy. Who runs the world? And, it becomes a topic that it's not tiring, but it becomes more complicated than it has to be. Because you're going to get three people. You're going to get the first type that says the white man. You get the second type that says rich people. You get a third type that says Illuminati. And when the third type says Illuminati, that can be anything. That could be the government. That could be aliens. That could be Satanists. That could be anybody. Right? They just mix everything up together. It could be old families from Europe, which I guess is connected to the rich people in the second one, but old money, right? So you get those three. And then at the end of the day, the real answer is all three and way beyond. But we're not going to go to way beyond. Not in the public section anyway. You mother skunks. You guys should join the Patreon. I am not getting no damn public of that topic. And even then, I don't even get it in Patreon as much. Why? For this reason. We cover it for this reason. Because there's a type of flexibility that's needed. I feel that if we examine the first three answers, white man, Illuminati, and Illuminati, they want to put Zionists, you can put that shit in it, whatever, right? I'm not really trying to get flagged with YouTube at that point. And then rich people. So all three is kind of based on your level of understanding. So none of it's really wrong. And I think what I'm trying to do in this video is show there's definitely wrong answers. Like if you say the government, what type? What? Congress, Senate, executive, judicial, for my UK friends, what parliament, which type? Right? Then people say, oh no, they're hitting the deep state. Okay, intelligence agencies? My dude, shit. Intelligence agencies, most people not used to the speed of the MI6, MI5, Mossad, CIA, NSA. They're not used to that speed. They're not. It's a different speed. And most people haven't been in trenches. Those who have been in the trenches a little bit, they might have seen some feds, maybe, or a federal prison. They don't. If they know anyone in intelligence agencies, they know somebody doing paperwork or deciphering some code, right? Maybe. I doubt that. It's possible most people watch this video doesn't know anybody. They can't name one. They don't know any. They don't know. They never met one person from that world. And even if they have, that world has slaves by itself. I had one of my military friends say, "CIA, they don't have. They just in their office, decoding shit." I'm like, they have paramilitary units and they have outside hitters. Yes, if you're official CIA, you're gonna probably be pushing some kind of paperwork and decoding shit and analyzing stuff. You're probably gonna be an analyst for sure, no question. But that stuff goes way deeper than that. So it's a different speed, and it's a speed that most people can't handle. And it's fine if you understand that. So next thing you say is, well, go to the speed that you could handle and work your way up. So when we go to this basic level, white man, that's fine. If that works for you. But understand, if we keep it basic, it's probably still a regional, like when you want to go to war with a transnational power, put it like this. It's like this. The only people who think gangs could take a cartel is gang members, right? I will keep it this in jail. Might be a different story. Gang members might have an edge. But on the streets, it's not even close. A gang member believes he gives himself a pat on the back by saying he never works with cops. Mafias and cartels want to own cops. It's totally different level of understanding. Completely different. So if the elites are like a transnational power, and that's if you don't believe in magic. If you believe in magic, it becomes transdimensional, right? Some people believe in aliens, it becomes transplanetary, right? Okay. So if they're that, you thinking like a local person doesn't help. And then a lot of you guys think locally, and I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. Your local shit doesn't even work because I lived in the Appalachian Mountains now. I lived in all corners of America, East Coast, West Coast, South, right? And very few Americans I know, very few, know America per region. They know that they know their region. That's it. So they talk about America. They talk about their region. And America is very different region to region. No matter what the internet, no matter what social media, no matter what your politicians tell you, very different. There's similarities. Sure, if I go to Alabama and I go to Kentucky, both like guns. Both might like chicken. Sure, both might go to church. But there are differences. Not stark, but subtle enough that if you're making a game plan, you gotta adjust your game plan from each individual, let alone going to Utah. And so somebody doing Mormons, completely different. Even though a Mormon might vote Republican like somebody from Kentucky and Alabama would. Right? And we say America, we're forgetting with 48, with the mainland, Alaska, and Hawaii. Like, this is not deep, but simple stuff that people can't even get. And this is the person who says, I'm thinking locally. No, you're not. I don't know what you're thinking. So understand that, because it's important. Because if you say rich people, this is my third time doing this damn video. All right? So I got the first two times in word. The rich people, I remember asking my AI, how many rich people in the world? I thought it was a million. No, not how many rich people, how many millionaires? I thought it was a million. That chick said 59 million. Or that thing said 59 million, right? Have it in the female voice. 59 million. And I was like, okay, but that's people worth over $1 million. So like, let's, real rich people. If that 59 million, it's about probably 10 million. But guess what? You think 10 million people are plugged in? Come on. 10 million? Probably about half of that or 1 million. And that's a lot of people. 1 million people plugged in? Man, you only need 24 people to run the world, each time zone. Right? They have 100 subordinates under them. It's like 240 people. Definitely not even close to 1 million. So we got to put these things in perspective when we're analyzing who runs the world. And I think it's important in that sense because I think no matter what you say, there's a flexibility that's missing for most people. And as long as that flexibility is missing, your understanding of how to navigate this topic becomes lacking. And this is why when you really start to understand this topic, you realize there's only two things they fear: magic and money. And not money where you try to get more money than Bill Gates. Money where you're self-sufficient. Money where you could live in any country you want, or you could buy some land in your country. And that's going to be important because they're buying up all the land. They want to make America like Europe. They buy up all the land, that takes 50% of your power away. You can't own property. You can't make a stand in your land. Right? You got to worry about what your landlord says. Yeah. And that for the most part, it's not good. So they definitely are making a war on your pockets. And though you could say science it should be science and money, science is often not set up for the average person. It takes a lot of work. So sometimes it takes money. It definitely takes resources. And the state that the world is in right now, I mean, I would tell people, get a trade, males especially, get a trade over getting a degree if you are not going to, if you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, nurse, like something tangible, I'm going to say do that. Engineering, something in computers, I'm going to say do that. But if you're talking about business management and social work, no, especially as a male, get a skill. So I can't tell people get a skill and then tell people pick magic over science. What I could tell people is any real magician is supposed to know science too. So to help make you grounded, because at the end of the day, this is what's been going on. You follow people who decode conspiracy. You follow people who claim to have spiritual knowledge. You follow people who claim to be magicians. And, magic gave birth to science. A lot of the Sufis set science up big time. That transition from Rome fell to when Spain rose. Big transition to when Newton came in, shaped Western science as we know it today. That stuff the Sufis handled before Newton took over in some ways. So, real magicians know enough science. Sure, it's part of our work. So, we can always tell fake ones who know no science, then they're probably in fantasy land and leading people down that cliff. And that's what makes this stuff hard is because the real answer is not, well, this guy runs the world. And it is, but you're not ready for that. The real answer is increasing your flexibility, right? The whole run the world stuff is kind of more based on who you are, like meaning where you are on the totem pole, what you have access to. That's the truth. That's really, when we talk about running the world, it's really that. And that's important to understand because in some ways, and not even in some ways, in a lot of ways, what ends up happening is it's one of those things where if you don't look at it from that point of view, right, it becomes harder for you to move. And the reason why I say it becomes harder for you to move is because what ends up happening is this. Society has been socially engineered since Rome. And they know exactly how you're going to react, when you're going to react. And they also know that you're going to be probably soft on your fellow humans. Your fellow humans can't really be saved as a group. There's a reason why rich people form families, rich people form secret societies, mafias form mafias, right? They don't say, we're going to get the whole world to get in on it. The whole world, the majority of people you see, this is not meant for them. This is meant for a person who comes and says, who runs the world, right? It's meant for that person has a certain mindset. And at this point, Eminem, money and magic. It's the only chance you got. I don't know half of you guys will stay on theory all day. You're scared of magic. The other half think you do magic. That's fine, right? And that's the ones who I could work with. The ones who don't even care about magic, they'll be into conspiracy. And I'm like, let me tell you something. You don't even get conspiracy, right? If you think this shit started with Rome, I'm just telling you that because I can go by what I can scientifically prove. This shit started way before that, right? And that's how they know who's who. How much knowledge, how much you know about that subject. So you think aliens is a huge threat when they're admitting that UFOs are sort of real. Anything they admit to you is way bigger, right? Anything they admit to you is way bigger. They'll be quicker for them to admit that UFOs are real than to say, we waged war with the whole planet. We beat almost every group, spiritually and physically. But for those who practice African spiritual systems, we beat them physically, but we haven't beat them spiritually yet this whole time. So we didn't beat them spiritually. We said, and again, I'm not saying this to empower anybody who thinks they do that. Most people who say they do African spirituality, to be honest, I don't even like. They're obsessed over 400 or 500 years, right? We started way before that. When people talk about Lemuria, where do you think they talk? We started way before that. We were there before Atlanteans, and we were there when Atlanteans fell. But you focus on 500 years. So I am not doing this for them to feel powerful, right? Because if they were doing what they were supposed to do, they would have inspired people to do more shit. Because at the end of the day, people are drawn to simplicity. If I came and made a video saying the white man runs the world, most people would focus on that. If I said the rich people run the world, the whole other branch of people who hate capitalism will focus on that. If I said the Illuminati runs the world, the people focus on conspiracy would do that. If I said it's a combination, much higher, he's big, he don't know what he's talking about. Simplicity, or what you think is simple, is always being popular. And things should be simple, but things should be stupid. And that's why I said, try not to think like a local person, because you're not even doing local right. If I go to Europe right now, and I talk to their conspiracy people, they're not going to say something simple as the white man runs the world. If I'm in Greece, they're going to probably come up with some kind of Northern Europeans run the world, for the most part, power centers in England, Netherlands, France, Germany, blah, 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 blah. Right? Definitely. What was Greece doing in World War I and II? Just saying. If I'm in Eastern Europe, which is a little better for this example, they're definitely going to say Western Europe runs the world. And maybe Russia has power too, and they may not trust Russia, depending on the Eastern European country. But Europe is not going to just be like, we're white, we run the world. No, it's not going to be like that. So you're gonna get different answers based on different cultures, and even though spiritual people, specifically spiritual people, a little more than conspiracy, think they're above. They think they're above mundane things like culture. No, dude, you're still trapped by your culture, so you need to learn how it's trapping you. So at the end of the day, what this video is about is being flexible in your understanding and being flexible, understand where you are. And where you are is going to be the level of the conspiracy that you could understand. If you're in a country that's in America and you're still trying to come up financially and you're in the hood, you might look at it as white man. Not saying that's wrong. That's your reality. You got a little money and you're still free closed out. You got education. Because we're getting education and not matching the finances, right? Let's say you get a little more education, you get a little money, and you're like, but I'm still not where I want to be. Then your understanding is going to be a little different. Then once you start studying spirituality, you start being serious about conspiracy, merging in politics, then you start saying there is some group called Illuminati, but that group's a fun group. They're the visible rulers. Still something behind that. But even when you get there, you start, am I ready for the stuff behind that? Most likely not. I'm not even ready for CIA and NSA. Just being honest. So you understand where you are and you adapt to that. And the only way you can do that is to understand that your knowledge of conspiracies and this understanding this topic should be evolving. It was easy to say the white man wants the world. China has come up now. China has a lot of power. A lot of people haven't adjusted, they haven't adjusted the understanding. Now the global south is starting to come to power. Right? Now the global south is, in the next 10, 15 years, going to start to challenge. We've seen that with the global south rejecting the Ukraine narrative. They're going to start to challenge the Zionist, Zionist, Western American narrative. Things change. And you need to change with them. Cyrus King. Till next time.